Altrincham Football Club are up and running. We got our first win of the season. Exciting game of football at the J Davidson Stadium. We're talking to manager Phil Parkinson. It's finished Altrincham 3, Alfreton Town 2. Phil, great game of football, and in the end, we got there.
Yeah, one for the fans today. Really entertaining, end to end. Really exciting game of football. I would have liked to have controlled it a little bit more. As I've said all the way through since the start of the season, I don't think we're really 100% yet, which I wouldn't expect us to be at the start, but it'd be nice for us to get a little bit closer than where we are at the moment with regards to control of games. But overall, it felt very much like the first season when I was here against Whitby, when we got that all-important first victory, and it didn't feel like it was going to come. So yeah, it was ever so pleasing, and you could feel the relief around the place, the fact that everyone feels that you're up and running now. So yeah, I'm made up for everybody.
Alfreton started quite well, but we probably had the better chances in the early part of the game, and when the opening home game, great strike from Connor Hampson.
Yeah, superb. He's certainly capable of that. I felt all the goals that we scored today were well-worked goals or well-worked set-piece goals, so really pleasing from the viewpoint of we're still scoring. We normally when we get in the lead, we don't normally give teams a chance to come back at us, so it's something that we're showing a lot of resilience at the moment, because I think every team that are playing against us are really raising the game as well. You can see how much effort they put in today, and I've got to give them full credit for that. They were 100% all the way to the end, and they didn't give us an inch, but I felt our lads showed the quality, played the majority of the game the way I want it to be played, but they're really showing the other side of the game that people probably question about my teams, well, not just my teams, the Altrincham teams, with regards, have we got that resilience? And I feel we're showing that, because we're having to, because teams are coming and giving it everything. So it's full credit to the boys today to get that victory.
Yeah, Alfreton certainly much improved on last season and played some good football in the game. The equalising goal, it was a strange sort of deep cross, but Clackstone's got on the end of it, knocked it back, and there was Danny Clark to knock it into the goal. But so frustrating to get the lead and then not be able to hang on to it for very long.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with both the goals. I thought they were pretty much identical. A back post, flick on, back across, which we normally deal with 9 times out of 10. Connor Hampson superb in them situations. First one, I think there was some confusion with who was tracking runners, but again, for me, the deep line cross, we deal with that all day, so very disappointed that we couldn't today, only on 2 occasions, but those 2 occasions cost us goals, and we need to eradicate those kind of mistakes or positions that we put ourselves in, and we can do that by strangling the team of the ball and not allowing them to have it for longer periods of time, and it's something I'm going to keep banging the drum about to the players. But I know they're playing under a lot of pressure, because, as I said, everybody's really raising the game against us because of what happened last season. We've obviously, as I've said all the way through, put a big target on our backs, or a big feather in everyone's cap to come and beat us now. So we'll be ready for that, and we'll thrive on the challenge, because all the players know if they're not ready, if they're not at it at 100%, we'll get beat.
And James Jones' 3rd goal of the season in 4 games. It's a terrific return for a central defender.
Yeah, he's doing great, isn't he? I said to James, there's nothing better from a centre half than if you can keep them out the other end and go up the other end and put one in. So we're almost there. As soon as we keep them clean sheets, if he keeps putting them in the other end, then hey, listen, James has got everything as a centre half. He's got the size. He's winning his physical battles now. That was probably a question mark I was putting over him at times, because he's young and coming through, and he certainly did that. So I thought he was a colossus today. And again, going up the other end and getting that goal for us was so important. And his confidence is sky high at the moment. But as I said, we've got young Malarkey in the background who's putting pressure on both Tom and James. So it's great competition in them places.
Alfreton have equalised after just 1 minute of the second half, and it seemed to unsettle us a little bit. I never thought we were sort of quiet on our game throughout the second period.
I think any time you concede that early on in any game, it's going to unsettle you, because it's a kick in the teeth, where we've just spoke about everything at half time, and they score an identical goal to me to the first one. So there's probably doubt that comes into players' minds when that happens, but the really positive thing for me is the mental strength the players showed, the resilience they showed, the application to say, no, we're not going to allow this to happen, and go and get the winner. I mean, JJ's goal epitomised that, just ultimate positivity, lining his man up, and he's so capable of that. And you look how close Jordan Hume was tonight. I know everyone's saying he just needs that goal, but I know they're coming. He's working his socks off, and he's so close to getting on the end of so many chances, and he's creating his own chances, so I know they're going to come. It's great to see Josh Hancock on the pitch, who was a massive positive for us tonight. So there's huge positives to come out of the game. We'll obviously work on the things that we need to work on to improve, such as defending them long balls in at the back post. We'll have a look at that in terms of how that ball come in and how we can defend that a little bit better. But as I said, I've seen us defend that so many times. We just need to be a bit more consistent in what we're doing. I think the quicker we find a consistency, we'll go on a great run of form, I'm sure.
And the winning goal, what a stunning strike.
It was, as I said, it epitomised JJ's performance, really positive. I think he's been, over the last 4 games, probably the most positive player, really stepping up to the challenge, knowing that everybody's after him and looking good in every single game. He's looked ever so strong, so we're really pleased with JJ. That's what we're looking for from all the players. We're looking for an improvement on last season. We know financially, budget-wise, we're probably punching about mid-table or above mid-table because of where we were last season. There has been a little bit more investment, but we've got to work 100% every minute of the game, every training session. We have to do everything we can to make sure we're there or thereabouts.
We're now up into mid-table. 3 points makes a hell of a difference, and all of a sudden it's turned what would have been a disappointing start with 3 points into 5 points, which is a reasonable start.
Yeah, you say reasonable, but from our perspective, we're not happy with it. We feel we should have 6-9 points on the board at least. So we'll use that frustration and anger in every single game to try and claw that back. And we've got another mountain to climb when you go to Brackley on Saturday. Last season it was sort of a benchmark game for us. I know they've had a bit of an indifferent start, probably very similar to ourselves. But if you look around the league, there's not many consistent teams yet. So I think everybody's finding the feet, and the quicker we can find an element of consistency, as I said, I'm sure we'll go on a really good run.
Yeah, the league is looking quite interesting. Obviously, York are top, but the likes of Curzon, Ashton, Guiseley have done ever so well so far. And there's certainly a number of teams, and we've already played a few of them, who've improved from last season.
Yep, 100%. I said that earlier on. I feel every team in the league's improved. I feel we've improved as well, but teams are obviously looking at it where, if we're perfectly honest, if we look around the league, I don't think there's a standout candidate you'd be like, they're going to run away with it. There's no Salford Cities in there. Even though York City you would probably class right up there as an ex-league club and a massive fan base and a huge budget. But I think everybody's thinking the same thing. It's there to be taken if they can find that key word that I keep saying. I think I've said about 100 times in this interview, consistency. People are looking for that, and if they can find that and they can find goals, then I think the league's anyone's, really.
That's the thoughts of Phil Parkinson on Altrincham's first victory of the season, a 3-2 victory over Alfreton Town. So like we did in the first season under Phil and Neil, we've secured our first win in the 4th game. We, of course, went on to win the Evo Stick Premier Division that season. We're up and running, 5 points from 4 games now, and we look forward to the trip to Northamptonshire to take on Brackley Town on Saturday.